Hello guys, this is Marissa from AbleDiz.com, member of the Dizziness Blues, Vestibular Disorder Support Group of Durham Region, and Vestibular Disorder Support Group. I've been experiencing vestibular disorder for about 6 years, and my main symptoms consist of chronic disequilibrium and vertigo. So basically, I'm constantly in motion. As I experience the web, I've had to adjust viewing particular sites because the condition that I have doesn't really appreciate a lot of the movement that is shown in some of these websites. So basically, if you see here, I think it was sometime last week, yeah, I made a statement on my Twitter that I disabled a JavaScript and now I don't have to struggle with a lot of the moving animations. And then I put there has to be a better way. And not to really get into what JavaScript is, but it's a scripting language. And once I disabled this particular scripting language, I wasn't able to view some of the features on other sites. For example, Twitter, it just completely was unusable. So unfortunately, I had to turn back on JavaScript, and it didn't really solve my solution. Well, there was a hero. I see him as a hero. His name is Derek Featherstone, and he's a web accessibility professional, and he's basically devoted his career to making sure that the web is accessible for people. So he contacted me, and he said that he believes that he might have a solution, and he wanted me to keep sending him websites that are difficult for me to use. And he said he'd like to look at about 10 as an example. So sure, I know for sure I have 10 plus sites that I can provide, but I wanted to reach out to you guys to see what websites are bothering you and what websites that you're avoiding so that we can get your input as well. Because I think just seeing from different areas or themes throughout the web, it might get us to have a greater overview. So basically that's what I'm looking for today. So I kind of wanted to show you what it is that I'm talking about. I want to give you a heads up warning that the sites that I'm going to be showing provoke motion and movement, and so I don't want you to get sick. So heads up, if this is too much for you, just want to let you know now, but I was hoping this would give you an idea of what it is we're looking for and interested in having you share with us. Okay, so I'm going to move to the first site now, and it really seems simple at first and static, so we're going to go ahead and click on our services. Boom, all that motion and movement. If I disabled JavaScript, I'd be able to just click on the R services at the top, and it would just bring up the website right here, whatever section it would bring it here, and instead of having to have that scroll down transition going all fast. So that's one idea. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this particular site, agencynet.com, and I want to give you a heads up. This is probably one of the more difficult offenders, so brace yourself. But this is the intro of the site. Let me get this out of here. And so just as we move around, just here and here and here, I have to look away right now. I'm not even looking. Give it a little bit. And okay, so these little movements here, not necessarily, but now we're going to have sound added, and we have some background movement, movement down in here. So this seems to be a little bit much for me to take in. So this wouldn't be a site that I would spend a lot of time at frequenting, especially with that introduction. Moving on, there's another site here, which is really a beautiful site, but if I want to take a look at one of the projects, I go ahead and click, and heads up as well, that transition, and then boom, I'm greeted with a video. So not only do we have to get a lot of that movement just to transition into what they want us to experience, now we have an instant video. So I doesn't give my brain an opportunity to slow down from what I just experienced, and now I have to take on his audio and movement as well. So just wanted to show you that. And then we're going to move over to another popular site, Jim Carrey site, and let me go ahead and refresh it as well so you can see the intro. So we see a lot of things going on, not necessarily that anything's making too drastic of a movement or motion, but brace yourself. We're going to go. We're waiting for it to come. So once again, I had to look away and just kind of brace myself for that experience. So let me go ahead and turn off some of this noise here, and let's move on. Mark Echo, this is a beautiful site, but one of the things I notice is just by moving I would like to scroll to the right side of the screen. Okay, so like I'm moving here and I want to click on here, and it's just all over the place. So that's a lot of movement. So if we could just experience it as a static page and click it without having to scroll all the way around. So let me get out of here. I'm noticing that a lot of the fashion websites, they have a lot of this move through transitions. They just automatically scroll through. So I'm going to refresh this because you could see how it starts. Say, for example, I want to read this breaking news, and then we have an advertisement here, and then now my peripheral, I'm seeing all this motion, and I'm trying to focus here on what they're saying, but that motion is distracting to me. So that's another example. And I actually wanted to show you an example of something I think that is done correctly. Although this site is an animation site, nothing loads in terms of animation when you reload the site or when you visit the site. You would have to physically click watch, and then, okay, now you can brace yourself a little bit. And then the animation comes, and you can make a decision if you can sit through an animation like this or not. So for me, I choose not to, because yikes, that's just too much. But at least it gives me an opportunity to not have to be greeted with it right in the beginning. So basically what I'd like for you to do is over the next few days, or even today, if you have sites that are, let me get out of here so we're not flashing that through, sites that you would like to show your input or share with us, it would be really fantastic. So my goal for the web would be not to have a bunch of sites that are boring and not creative and don't have movement, but because I would love to see web designers test their creativity and their limits, but it's just to have an ability for me particularly and others to be able to turn off some of these animations and motions so that we can still experience the web and have a good experience without getting sick or having added motion and movement to disturb already a movement type condition that we experience today. So thanks guys for your help. I look forward to seeing what sites you come up with, and thank you so much. Take it easy.